Okay, students, this is going to be a really challenging question. So here's the question, question 15 out of exercise 4.1. And by the way, I put a red asterisk on it. That basically means it's a hard question. So for those of you that like to get stuck into really hard questions, this is an excellent one to try. Express each of the following in the form like that. So that's the form that we need it in so we can draw the graph. And they're giving us that form of the equation. And I must confess, I've only been teaching maths since 1972, but I've never actually been asked this question before. And to start with, I had no idea how to do it. So I thought about it for a while, and here's what I came up with. So I'm going to show you my solution. First, I'm just going to show you the basic method for doing it, and then we'll do it, apply the method for that particular equation just there. So here's what I thought. I've got absolutely no idea how to turn this equation into that form, but I can go the other way. So what I can do is I can start with that and turn it into that. And I might get enough information from doing it in that order to figure out how to solve the actual question I've been given. So this is the first step, is can we rewrite this so it's just a single fraction, because that's what we need. So again, you might want to stop the video and put some time into this. It's not going to just be 2 or 3 minutes, I wouldn't think. It does take a bit of thinking, but it's a nice little challenge for you. Okay, let's go ahead and I'll show you what I came up with. Okay, what I have to do first, of course, if I'm going to write it as a single fraction, is I have to get a common denominator. So I needed a denominator of x minus b. So the c, I just multiplied it by x minus b over x minus b, because anything divided by itself equals 1, and c times 1 is just c. So that was really the key to the whole thing. So now I can write that as a single fraction. So I've got over x minus b, my denominator. I've got a plus cx, c brackets x take b, and I expanded out the brackets. So my numerator became a plus cx minus cb, which is that, all divided by x minus b. Okay, I've got, I can basically put the cx term in front, which is what I've done. So I want the x term first, and what's left after that is just a take bc. So that is now in the same format as that. So having done all of that, what I can say is b is the number subtracted in the denominator. So whatever that number is, subtracting 5, for example, b is equal to 5. C is the coefficient on x. So in this case, the coefficient on x is just 1, so c equals 1. And finally, the number that you're adding or subtracting in the numerator is just a minus bc. So in this case, for this question, a minus bc has to equal 4. So what I've come up with is basically a way to get a, b, and c by using all of this. So let's have a look at question A. Okay, again, having done that, you might want to pause the video and see if you can then work out the answer based on this. Otherwise, just keep watching. So the number in the denominator, x minus some number, that's what b is. So b is equal to 5. So that has to be the same as that. C is the coefficient on x. So in this case, the x on top, that is. So in this case, the coefficient of x is just 1. So c equals 1. And finally, the number in the numerator is equal to a take bc. So I know that a take bc equals 4. And I know what b and c are. So I can say B times C is equal to 5, so A minus 5 equals 4, A equals 9, and there's the answer. So that expression there can be rewritten as 9 divided by x take 5 plus 1. So you might want to pause the video and go through all of that, have a think about it. Just sort of say, well, how did we get from that to that to that to that? And then maybe you can try it on one of the other questions, although I'm going to give you one to try on the next page. So here's your go. Question D. Write that expression in that form. And I've been really nice to you, and I've given you the method or the results that I worked out on the previous page. So pause the video, have a go at doing question D, and then I've also done question E down there. So you might want to try both of those. Okay, well, B is the number subtracted from X, so B is negative 1. We got X subtract negative 1 is the same as X plus 1. C is the coefficient of X, so C must be 2. And then A take BC is the numerical term in the numerator, so A take BC equals 3. We know that B times C is negative 2, and A subtract negative 2 is A plus 2, and therefore A has to be 1, and there's the answer. Okay, you might want to try E as well on your own. Pause the video, have a go. The main thing here is first rewrite that so the X term is in front and the number is second. So you got to rearrange the equation before you start. Okay, so I basically have rewritten that as negative 1x plus 5. So, and in your denominator, again, it's x subtract negative 4. So b is the number subtracted in the denominator, so b is negative 4. C is the coefficient of x, so c is negative 1. Oh, I didn't finish it, so you're going to have to go ahead and finish that off and check your answer in the textbook. Sorry about that. And we're going to stop that video just there. So there's a couple of questions that initially were quite challenging, but once we worked out the general formula for it, it's not too bad. Okay, we'll move on to one more video, I think, in just a few minutes.